A few things that I wanted to go over after last episode. That was effective. A few things. This is what happens. We have some work to do. Let's try this. Tyler's home. Just got home from work. Just pulled in the garage. Well, you're going to have to do a little bit better than that. Can you see him nudging this? That's a good boy. Good boy. So this is how I don't know this for a fact, but this is how I think we keep him from, oh shit, I did the wrong thing again. Good boy. This is how I think we keep him from like bombarding the door when there's somebody there. He's really excited right now because he knows who's out there. Good boy. But I think maybe we're moving in the right direction. Good boy. Worked out well. Hi.
Are you recording right now?
Mm-hmm. I'm recording. So I could use my privacy while I talk about you.
So you want me to go? How long do you need?
2 minutes.
That I can do.
See you later.
Peace out. This is a private one?
Nope. Okay, so I learned this week that dog training also applies to husband training. Well, specifically, it's your choice, applies to husband training too. Because let me tell you what happened. Tyler and I are very different drivers. I tend to be more of a multitasking driver, and he tends to be more of a 10 and 2 driver. I also tend to be the one that does more of the driving, and I kind of just feel like if you are riding with me and you do not have to be the driver, then you really don't get a say in how I choose to drive while I'm on the road. But he's also like kind of a little control freak. And don't judge me, but I happened to forget to put on deodorant before we went out to dinner the other night. And while we were driving down to dinner, I pulled my, because it's not the first time this has happened, I pulled my deodorant out of my console and was about to put it on while I was on the interstate. And Tyler said, well, maybe you should wait until we stop to put on your deodorant. And knowing my husband, I know really what he means is, I wish you wouldn't do that while we were driving, but that's not what he said. He said, this is what you should do. And I say, oh, too bad, so sad. That's your problem that you feel that way. I am gonna do what I'm gonna do. So I was full on like ready to put on the deodorant while on the interstate, and he said, you know what, let me rephrase that statement. I would prefer if you didn't put that deodorant on while driving. To which I replied, holy fucking shit, way to use your words, because if you had just said that in the beginning, of course I would respect your choice. You're the passenger, I love you, and I would be happy to make you more comfortable while we're driving. If you're just gonna tell me what I should and shouldn't do, that's a whole different story. But this is immediately I thought, oh my gosh, he just did what I want him to do. He used his words and he communicated, and I have to reward this behavior. So I did what he wanted, and I gave him what he wanted, which was for me not to put on the deodorant while driving. And my hope is that next time something comes up that he goes right into telling me what I should do or I shouldn't do, maybe he'll think twice and use his words and tell me what he wants or how he feels, instead of that I'm breaking the rules, because I don't really care if I break the rules. Anyways, I thought that was entertaining, and I would never have come to that conclusion or had that experience had I not been working with JD on It's Your Choice. Okay, now he can come back in the room. So, that being said, A few notes from last time. So sorry about the distractions. I did not realize that the chopping and the freezer and the tinfoil in the background was going to be quite so loud, so lesson learned, won't do that again. Moving the treats. I've noticed in not only the videos that I've been shooting, but also just in our sessions. I did it 3-4 times just a minute ago. Like if JD is coming at me and it's not what I want him to do, my natural inclination is to move the treat or move whatever it is out away from him. But that's not the best approach, I've learned, because dogs have serious prey instincts, especially this one. Like he's a dog, that's what he does. You're cute. So if I pull the treat away from him, it's like his natural reaction is to chase it. He thinks it's a game. There's nothing really that he can do. Like he can suppress that instinct, but that instinct is never going to go away. So I'm just making it more difficult for him to exhibit the behaviors that I'm hoping for if I'm pulling the treat or moving it all around in front of his face. The solution would be if he's doing something I don't want him to do. Either one, hold it still and just play the game while I was talking to the camera, because I did this a lot in the last video. Talking to you guys and the treat's all over here. Or what I ended up doing, finally, got it together, just put the treat away, and then there was nothing to distract him in that circumstance. Praise, that was that. Don't move the treats, I'm working on it. It's not easy, but we'll get there. Praise before reward. The reward could be a treat. In the video geez, dog. In the video you're about to see, the reward is actually just being allowed into the house, which is where he wanted to be. But I was kind of questioning, do I praise? Like, isn't the treat the praise? I don't really know. And how is all this happening? What order should I be doing things in? But when I thought it through, here's what it is. I need to praise before reward. In the instance of the video that you're going to see, I wanted him to be waiting outside until I told him it was okay to come in, even though there is no door barrier in between us. If I give him his release word, which is break, then he's going to walk in the door. And then if I tell him good boy after that, well, then he's being praised for coming in the door. He's not being praised for the choice a second before that allowed me, or that put me in the position to actually allow him in the door. He's a lab. This is what they do. So weird. So praise before treat. The praise you can do immediately. The treat might take a moment. Like if he did something really good right now and I wanted to praise him for it, I could say, good boy, which I probably shouldn't have just said, and then stepped up to get the treats, which are on. Well, hello. All right, that's enough. Down. Then stepped up. We'll go get your dad, he's home. Then stepped up to get the treat. But the behavior that we're marking that he now knows I am looking for comes immediately before good boy. And right now you're not being, so I'm gonna stop using those words. Probably you think you should get a reward, and that's why you got all crazy all of a sudden. That's my fault. So on that note, dog training, all human training. It's all about me, or us, I suppose, and how we interact with him. JD is really smart, and he's really eager to learn, and he's really eager to please us. If I give him mixed signals, like I use the GB words while I'm having a conversation with you, he hears them and he knows that they're associated with treats, so of course he's gonna get excited enough to lick himself on camera. So that's cute. Hey, can you stop that? Thanks. So praise before you allow whatever the behavior or whatever the reward is, whether it's giving the treat or letting in the door, or I'm sure lots of other things that I'll be playing with a toy, things that I'll be able to come up with down the road. But if you're playing, it's your choice. The reward comes after the praise. This one has been a little bit difficult. Meet him where he is. So just because he performed at a 9 yesterday, and so I know he understands whatever the concept is that we're working on, doesn't mean that I'm just gonna go right into a 9 today. Maybe I start at a 6 and like work up in terms of level of difficulty. Your life is so rough. And even within a training session, if he finds something a little bit more difficult, the cats come in and start messing with his flow. then we're gonna start, like, we're gonna revert back and make it a little bit easier on him so that he, once again, gets the reinforcement of the behaviors that we're looking for. He enjoys the game again. He's not getting frustrated. I'm not getting frustrated. And then we can just work up from there. And then lastly, I've been having him do quite a bit of looking at me, like trying to work with him on, I'm not going to reward him until he looks at me, and choose that that is the behavior, not just, for instance, playing it's your choice, not simply rewarding the fact that he's not eating that treat that's in my hand. I'm actually rewarding him once he looks at me, praising and rewarding. That's because I just, like you saw with with Tyler coming in the driveway, when he's in that mode, if he doesn't know to look at me and to look to me for whatever it is that I want him to do, I'm never going to be able to distract him when there is a squirrel that he wants to chase, or a person coming up the driveway. The mailman, like the UPS man, he hates them. I don't know why. They bring him lots of treats all the time, but they're not his favorite people. And there is just no way that I would be able to get his attention to even like show him that there is another option or that there is another behavior that I'm looking for if I don't have his attention. So I don't know whether that's appropriate or not, but to me, in my mind, it makes sense. So that's something I'm going to look into, and I'll get back to you guys on. So with that, take a look, see how we do. He did a great job today getting from bombarding me at the door and just busting his way in, good boy, to figuring out that he needed to sit and wait for me to release him before he ran into the dining room. So take a look, see what you think, and we'll catch you next time. So I'm going to show you what happens when I open the door in general if I don't give him any sort of guidance or require him to make any choices. This is what it looks like. And in we go. So he knows what's happening now. So ideally, as soon as I come for that door, I would love for him to sit down. Worst case, shit, you can't see me. Ideally, what would happen is as soon as I come for that door, I would like for him to sit down out there. And worst case, when I put my hand on the doorknob, I would like for him to sit. So what I want to work on today is not only being able to open the door and not have him bombard me, but also for me to be able to just kind of step in, one fluid movement, unlock the door, open the door, and have him sit until I use his release word, which is break. So what we're doing here is the exact same thing, at least the exact same concept as the It's Your Choice game with treats, but now we're playing It's Your Choice with the door. So every time I see a behavior I like, such as sitting and being patient, I reward it by giving JD what he wants, which is one step closer to opening the door. And we probably played this game for about 30 minutes, just over and over and over, practicing. Every time his butt came up off that ground, whatever I was doing, I stopped. And he started to get the point that if I just sit here and behave nicely, I'm going to get what I want, which is to come in the house. Good boy, break. Good boy. I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you. I know. Oh boy. And that was my face. I know. That's my fault. I know. So there we have it. I mean, we have a lot of more work to do, obviously. But I'm really proud of us, Juju. I'm really proud of us.